All right. Welcome back, everybody. You know we like to go deep, and today we're diving headfirst into the making of an emperor.
Emperor Napoleon, of course.
You got it. We're talking about Napoleon Bonaparte, specifically his early career, his Italian and Egyptian campaigns. We're going to really try to see how those shaped him as a leader, and how those early campaigns really paved the way for him to become the emperor of France.
It really is a fascinating story, especially the Italian campaigns.
Yeah, those were like, what, the late 1790s?
Yeah, 1796, 1797, a real turning point for Napoleon. This is where we see him becoming, well, Napoleon.
Yeah, it's wild. This isn't just some dry history lesson, right? We're talking ancient secrets, crazy strategies, battles, and conquests.
And even a bit of Indiana Jones thrown in there.
Oh, yeah, the Rosetta Stone. We'll get to that. But first, Italy. Napoleon takes command of the Army of Italy in 1796. And let's just say, they weren't exactly in top shape.
A bit of an understatement. Demoralized, lacking supplies, not exactly a force to be reckoned with.
Right. But Napoleon, he saw something different. He saw potential. What did he do to turn things around?
Well, I think one of the things that made Napoleon such an effective leader was his understanding that before you can win on the battlefield, you have to win the hearts and minds of your troops.
Yeah, so he had to get them believing in themselves again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's an account from one of his soldiers describing Napoleon rallying his men before a crucial battle, and he didn't do it with, lofty promises.
So what did he do?
He was raw. He gave this really honest assessment of their situation, appealed to their pride, their sense of duty to France, really just ignited this spark of belief that they could actually achieve the impossible.
He kind of sounds like a motivational speaker. So, okay, he's got them believing they can win, but how does he actually start winning against, these larger, better equipped armies?
Speed and surprise, that was his secret weapon. He was always one step ahead, always keeping his enemies guessing and striking where they least expected it.
So give me an example. What was one of his most, cunning moves?
The Battle of Montenot is a great example. He divided his forces, essentially flanking the Austrians.
And they thought?
They thought they had him cornered. It was a risky move, but it paid off big time.
A risk taker, but not reckless.
Yeah,
Calculating.
exactly. The Battle of Lodi is another great example of that.
Lodi.
Yeah, Lodi. Okay, picture this. Napoleon and his men, they're facing this heavily fortified bridge. Now, conventional military wisdom says you bombard the enemy positions, you soften them up before you even think about trying to cross.
Right, makes sense.
Not Napoleon. He sees this opportunity, right? He sees a chance to really exploit the element of surprise. So what does he do? He leads this daring charge across the bridge, secures a crucial victory.
Wow. Brave, but also, really smart, thinking outside the box.
Exactly. This move really cemented his reputation for audacity, and I think it cemented the loyalty of his troops.
Yeah, they must have thought he was invincible. So he's racking up these victories, he's becoming a hero. What were the long-term impacts?
Well, the Italian campaigns, they end with the Treaty of Campo Formio in 1797.
Campo Formio.
Okay. This treaty basically redraws the map of Europe, expands French influence, and really solidifies Napoleon's image as a conquering hero.
So he's back in France, he's a superstar. Everyone's probably telling him to just relax, enjoy the fame.
But Napoleon's not wired that way.
Nope. He sets his sights on Egypt. Egypt? Of all places. Why?
Napoleon was playing the long game. He knew Egypt was the strategic gateway to the East, and he saw a way to disrupt those British trade routes to India, hurt their economy.
Smart.
He was also, I think, deeply fascinated by ancient civilizations. This expedition wasn't just about military conquest. It was also about expanding France's, maybe intellectual and scientific horizons.
I'm sensing a butt coming.
But of course, it wasn't all smooth sailing.
Yeah, you mentioned the Rosetta Stone before.
Yeah.
But I also know the Egyptian campaign wasn't exactly a success story, so tell me more.
Okay, well, picture this. 1799. One of Napoleon's soldiers is working on building a fort, and he stumbles across this black basalt slab with 3 different scripts carved into it. Greek, Demotic, that's ancient Egyptian script, and ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs.
The Rosetta Stone.
The one and only. And it became the key to deciphering hieroglyphs. This was a language that had been a mystery for centuries.
Amazing. So even though the campaign wasn't a complete success, at least we got something good out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But why wasn't it a success? What went wrong?
Well, Napoleon achieved some pretty impressive victories at first, like the Battle of the Pyramids.
Pyramids. Sounds epic.
It was. He completely outmaneuvered the Mamluk cavalry. They were considered to be some of the fiercest warriors in the world at the time.
Really?
Oh, yeah. But the British fleet, led by Admiral Horatio Nelson, a brilliant naval strategist, dealt a crushing blow to the French Navy at the Battle of the Nile.
Oh.
They cut off Napoleon's supply lines, stranded him in Egypt.
So there he is, stuck in Egypt. Superior naval force blocking his way. What does he do?
Napoleon was a master of adaptation. Instead of panicking, he focuses on strengthening his position in Egypt, setting up administrative systems, promoting scientific research.
Okay, so even in defeat, he's still looking for the opportunity.
Exactly. Napoleon understood the power of knowledge and how it could elevate France's standing in the world, even if he wasn't winning every battle.
So he goes back to France. Not exactly a defeated general, but more like, what, a man of science.
That's one way to put it.
What's going on in France at this time?
Chaos.
Yeah.
It's 1799. France is a political mess. The Directory government, very unpopular, weak. The country was on the brink of falling apart.
And Napoleon, with his, aura of success.
People saw him as a savior.
He sees his chance and he takes it.
Exactly. He orchestrates the coup of 18 Brumaire, takes control, establishes himself as first consul. It was really brilliant how he combined political maneuvering with his immense popularity.
So we've covered a lot of ground. What can we learn from these early chapters in Napoleon's story?
I think one of the biggest takeaways is that Napoleon's rise wasn't just about luck or even his military genius. It was about his absolute will to succeed. He was a brilliant strategic mind. And I think one of his greatest skills was being able to turn setbacks into opportunities.
And he was ambitious. I mean, that makes you wonder, would his story have turned out differently if he hadn't been so driven? What if he had just been content with his early victories? Or was his ambition, his drive for power, was that just always going to lead him down the same path? Something to think about, isn't it?
Definitely something to ponder.
That's all the time we have for today. Join us next time when we'll be looking at the second. Well, you'll have to wait and see. Until then, thanks for listening.